Yo, listen, I often talk about this. The first book report I ever wrote in elementary.
Yes, I love this story.
Listen, first, I'd never written a book report in my life. And in elementary, I don't know if I was in third or fourth grade. It was early on. The man that inspired me the most, that made me want to be most like him, outside of my grandfather, the man that made me feel like I was capable of accomplishing anything and made me proud to be who I am in my skin. Extremely articulate individual. And when I say that, I mean not just by his choice of words, but his ability to connect and communicate with people from all walks of life across the world. And through his sport, he was able to change the world. But the sport never defined him. That's why he was able to walk away easily based on principle, based on being somebody, a beacon of light for his people. Not many people are willing to sacrifice that sort of thing for their people. Right. That's what makes Colin Kaepernick, in my opinion, so great.
It's hard.
Because he sacrificed his career to bring awareness to social injustice, just as this man, the late, great Muhammad Ali, has done. And with us, we have one of his beautiful children who's a friend of the show.
Yes.
She's a family member.
Yes.
And she always brings great energy when she walks up here.
Yes.
The one and only Maryum May Ali is here, ladies and gentlemen. We got an Ali in here. We got an Ali in the
intro
house.
ever for my father.
Yes.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, that's how I talk about your dad when not even knowing if you're listening or you're here.
Yes, thank you.
Because his energy is still here.
Yes, most definitely.
Maybe not in the physical.
Right.
But in a spiritual sense,
Right.
and that energy doesn't die, doesn't leave the planet.
Yes.
Doesn't leave. And so I sense it. And when you walked in the room and smiled, I felt like I was looking at your dad. I almost said my dad. I was looking at my dad, damn it.
He was a father to many.
Yes. Was a father to many. Good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing me to come today.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
We're going to talk about some things that was really controversial, in my opinion, surrounding a documentary or a piece that was done on Reelz channel, REELZ channel. They aired an episode of Cashed Out, which is a series they do, correct?
Yes.
And it's about different celebrities who have gone through financial adversities.
Right.
And they did one on Muhammad Ali, and they made all sorts of claims about what was going on in the condition of y'all family, the children, what they were able to receive in terms of inheritance. They said so many different things. They posted pictures of your family members and misnamed family. I mean, the information was so inaccurate.
Yeah.
That normally you don't even speak on stuff like this.
Never.
And it was important for you to come up here and talk about this because that's how they screw up a legacy.
Yeah.
Through misinformation.
And they do it intentionally. Well, first, I prayed this morning. I pray 5 times a day. I try my hardest to. I'm Muslim. And first, I want to acknowledge something serious because this is what my father would do, and it's on my heart, and I don't want people to think I'm taking this lightly and making my issue a big thing. I want to acknowledge the folks who are devastated by the hurricane, number one.
Okay.
It just, the Bahamas, I mean, my father fought in the Bahamas. I remember going there as a kid and just seeing the devastation. So I pray for them, and I hope people donate to the recovery. I want to find out a way to donate as well. And the people who lost their lives in mass shootings in August. And we're living in weird times.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
times.
Crazy times. My father, I am very proud of myself, and I'm going to pat myself on the back, and my siblings, because we have always been a family that is not about money and materialism. We work regular jobs. I've been in social services for 15 years. We've seen a lot of people benefit from my dad in terms of books and can I lean in? So I feel like I'm being pushed back. In terms of books and, that's all cool, and we know he's a beloved figure and we've shared him with the world. And we've basically had private lives, living regular. And growing up, I've always had to deal with people counting my money. Well, why are you down here working as a social worker? You're a trust fund kid or not taking me seriously. And we brush it off all our lives. So after my father passed, unfortunately, dealing with the pain of that, I would always say when my father died, I would have to psych myself out because unlike most families, I have to see him all the time. When someone dies, when someone dies, you can just kind of say, okay, I'll look at that picture when I want to look at it, or I'll talk. You could do that the way you want to do it. So when I was little, I said, man, when my father passes, I'm going to have to be ready for seeing him all the time, driving down the street, seeing a poster, whatever.
Wow.
So that's hard.
You never even think about
Not
that.
at all.
Oh, man,
Damn.
I'm telling you, it's like, and I did psych myself up for that. I said one day, and him having Parkinson's and it being a slow progression allowed us to say, okay, this will happen. And I'm happy we had him for 74 years, to be honest, because the Parkinson's was rough. So, he passes. I get, a call from TMZ. It was a voice message. I hear you guys are lawyering up, like getting lawyers. I'm like, what? So tabloid, news comes out, and we try not to acknowledge tabloids. They're cheap magazines, especially the ones coming out of England. They were really brutal.
No credibility?
Oh, man. So, I said, well, and in my mind, I'm thinking we shouldn't address it, but at the same time, we live in a social media society where a snowball just rolls down the hill and becomes a huge
avalanche.
And my worst fears kind of, came to fruition, So anyway, they were always saying we got all this money, and me and my siblings were like, no, we didn't, and just left it alone. We didn't say anything. So I see this show, and it's slandering me and my siblings like it's unreal slander. It's a misrepresentation of who we are, and it actually made me concerned about my safety. You know what I'm saying? And also a couple of my sisters were concerned. We got $6 million.
That's what the show claimed.
That's what the show claimed.
A piece?
Oh. Our stepmom got $12 million, but we're mad at her for getting that. So we're these ungrateful kids that are mad our stepmom got double what we all got. We're never there. We're only there at the end of his death, around at his deathbed.
That's what they said?
That's what they said. We're battling and at war constantly. All of this. Now, the problem with this is, number one, I have siblings that take public transportation. We've dealt with this before, and I have a family member who I will not say who it is because I don't want them to have retaliation, with their boss. But boss came up to them after the show aired and say, "When's your check coming?" And then a couple months after that, they're talking about laying this person off
because they think
they think they have access to millions of dollars.
Okay.
I've worked in the hood, beautiful community, but they call it the hood, high crime areas right here in South LA for 15 years. As I'm a social worker. If I wanted money, I wouldn't have gotten a social work.
No,
okay?
That's not the route.
So I may be going back to direct practice. I've been public speaking for a while. And when I public speak, most of it is conferences and fundraisers for organizations that are working with at-risk population, marginalized communities, talking to them, inspiring them. Now, what does it look like to hire a woman who is ungrateful what her father has done for her, battling with her own family, and I'm talking about family issues and reuniting families and helping families.
Yeah.
So that's a direct hit on my livelihood. You know what I'm saying? I will not. That's bad. So now we've gone from tabloids to a beautiful colored show with all these so-called experts, lawyers, and and we had a great relationship with our father. We visited him every chance we could visit him. We're very cordial and respectful to his wife.
All right.
We were not made millionaires in this inheritance. Now, I wasn't going to come out and say that.
Okay.
But now they're putting a little $6 million target on my head. My sisters who got to take the train to work downtown, downtown area, take the bus in New York or whatever. We were, and most of us do not live in gated private communities, so people have access to us. So now the storyline is getting way out of control, and it's just major slander. And you have this man who is a beloved figure. I mean, the stories you tell about doing book reports, people love my dad.
Yeah.
I have Muhammad Ali people on my Instagram that love him so much. I try to reply back to him when I can. But you have this beloved figure, and you're demonizing all of his offspring. So now you got people hating us.
Yeah.
Because,
you're feeling that backlash?
You know what? I already had a family member who got the backlash. And I know what I do for a living. And this massive, defamation of character and slander can really harm us making the little money we make.
Yeah.
We're just regular people. And one thing about my dad, he always taught us, do not be materialistic. In the Islamic faith, we live for, and all my siblings are Muslim, some of us are, but they're all good people. I live for the eternal heaven. I do. Mm-hmm. I don't grab and worry about the materialism in this life. That's why we didn't contest the will. We stayed cool, but we're not millionaires from our inheritance. So I just wanted to get that out there because there is a major effort to make our family look like these horrible people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think is behind that?
Right.
Okay, so this is what I think. I think it's a number of things. One is my brother and uncle came out kind of dogging out his wife, right? So you had some family members lashing out. So they kind of grabbed a hold of that. Then my brother's wife did an article, and it's the first time I saw the $6 million figure saying my husband left me after his father died and is not taking care of his children, and he has $6 million. That was the first time I heard $6 million.
Okay.
In the show, they said, sources widely reported. Now, nobody's called none of us, right? So your sources are the Daily Mail in England and tabloid news. So I think a combination of, first of all, his death, knowing he was worth millions of dollars, I suppose.
Okay.
He's worth millions. I don't know because I don't have those millions.
Okay.
But he's worth all this money. And my brother coming out because they talked about him a bit. But they took that information from tabloids. And then there was some talk that was kind of weird. It seemed like they did reach some kind of source that wasn't the children's source.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. If you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
They took it down.
What took what down?
We couldn't find the Real's Cash Out episode on your dad.
Oh, really? I couldn't find it either, so I don't know if they took it down or not. But I just think it's a combination. But I think more importantly, I think it's just, hey, we have a series called Cashed Out, and we have to make somebody a villain on who got money, didn't get money, because there's no conflict without a villain. And what they did was they put up our picture like umpteen times, put us up individually, said our names. I mean, the slander, it's unreal. Like, if I had $6 million, I could have I wouldn't be sitting here.
Okay.
I might be sitting here saying, hey, we really loved our dad. That's not true, and we're not fighting.
Yeah.
But I could go be in a gated community. I can hire maybe a security person. But now it's like my heart told me say something now because my father's been gone a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
And now they're creating this storyline of who we are as a family. Wow. And, he has a legacy, but his kids are also his legacy. And I am very proud to be able to inspire and motivate people and help people and implement what my father taught us, on a human level. And so it's getting out of hand and,
you needed to come and say something.
I'm just like, I'm not the one. I've been quiet, but I'm not going to stay quiet. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
May Ali, first of all, I appreciate this isn't something you would normally do.
Never.
And
have never done it.
Never done it.
Right.
And I appreciate you coming out to us and sitting with us and agreeing to have this conversation.
Right.
So let's correct this. So you and your other siblings, as far as none of you received $6 million.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. You never, and I know just by your time.
We're not millionaires from our inheritance.
Okay.
And we have to work. I'm not saying, we got to get this. This is not to get anything.
Yeah.
This is to leave us alone. Let us do not slander our name. All I have is my reputation. I don't have the Ali fortune, never had it.
Okay.
I have my reputation. I love the work I do in social services. I love my life, right? And I've never, so I'm just a regular person. I'm saying is that's like, you're going to work and someone says, this guy, he really has a record in jail or he really did this or that. And then all of a sudden your boss looking at you like, you're a horrible person. So it's 9 of us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's not cool.
Have you talked to the other siblings?
I've talked to not everybody because this just happened. I just saw this 2 days ago. The show, and I talked to 5 of my siblings about it.
Was Layla one of the siblings?
Well, I didn't talk to her on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, they had all of us on the platform, and my thing was this: I didn't want honestly, this is me coming as the eldest. I'm not speaking for everyone. I can't speak for everyone to say we didn't become millionaires through inheritance.
Okay.
But I didn't want, if they didn't want to come out and say it, I didn't want to put them on blast and say, you have to join me. This is something that I just felt I needed to do. And if you ask any of them, did you get $6 million? They'll say no. So it's just truth. And it's so many of us in so many different states with kids and responsibilities. This is just something I felt I needed to do. And they will understand while I'm doing it.
So let's get the facts correct. Y'all didn't receive. Nobody became a millionaire off of Muhammad Ali's. Off of inheritance.
No.
Okay. It's
and
not
most
true.
of us live regular lives.
And most of you live regular lives. Some of you are taking public transportation to get to work. Some of you are living in neighborhoods or not in areas where
we're not in gated. Most of us are not in gated private communities, and this can harm us just living regular like
being
everybody
so
else.
Accessible, like you said.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder if a sibling did receive the inheritance and it was just one person, would they share that information?
I know that we all did not get $6 million.
Because you saw the will.
Yeah, because I read the will.
Okay,
It's not Right. And like I said, that's something I would have never talked about.
If you did.
And I'm going to just say, a lot of people automatically know. They just think we're rich. But when you get to know us and you see, but when you talk about you're evil people, you didn't love your father, when you blend that in with it. That is too much.
Yes.
That's way too much. And my father would be sitting here right now defending us. And that's just, you taking it too far now.
So you did visit your father
all the time. We loved him, and
he
talked to us all the time, and he communicated with us, and he raised us, and we kissed on him and loved on him. And if you do your research on our family, you'll know that.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll know that. So I'm just saying, when people have 1-hour shows and you're the focal point of being horrible, it's time to say something.
Yeah.
You got to protect your own legacy.
Yeah.
And then honestly, because y'all living regular lives, they putting a target on your back.
Look.
I
work. Look.
The May got that.
For 15 years, I've worked in the highest crime area in South LA, doing gang prevention, juvenile delinquency prevention, youth and family development. Almost got shot in a drive-by. Bullet just whizzed past my head. The scariest thing in my life. At 9:00 in the morning, I remember where I was at on Hoover Street, about 2004, around that time. Very dangerous work. Worked at the mayor's office in the gang department, responding to gang homicides. $6 million is a lot of money in the hood.
Yeah,
okay?
That's a lot of money, period.
People get shot over $10.
Yeah.
You got me looking like, and there have been people who have gone to, those communities, actors who've been murdered because of the jealousy. So I'm not in an ivory tower working somewhere, and I might go back into direct practice in a couple years because I'm working on a program I'm trying to raise money for. I'm not going to get into that because I want people to think that's why I'm here.
Okay.
But imagine me trying to raise money and saying, well, you got $6 million.
Yeah.
So even the effort of me trying to develop this pilot program and having this image of being this ingrateful child of Muhammad Ali, who's a millionaire, who's unhappy with what she has, and I'm the exact opposite.
You're the exact opposite, but people painting a picture of
not
you.
Cool.
That's not cool.
Not
Do
cool.
you plan to take legal measures?
I've been advised not to say what possibly may happen. So I'm gonna leave that alone because one thing is that can be a possibility. Whether I do that or not, the narrative have to change immediately. That's why I called you up and said, look, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
So it's just at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not stressed. I'm a child of God. Allah has my back. I pray all the time.
Absolutely.
However, I'm not stupid either. And I'm not going to just allow something like this to go on. And, speaking from the heart and speaking what's real. It's not cool, man. This world, I mean, you can look at our president with the lies. Lying is just a thing right now.
Yeah,
people are voting on people based on lies. People are, Facebook. I had a couple, not a lot. Most people are commenting in support. Some people are like, oh, ignore that. Look, half of America believed everything they heard on Facebook about the candidates in the last election. You know, people are believing things. They believe things. And like I said, back in the day, idiots didn't have a platform. Now everybody got a page to say whatever they want to say.
And you ain't got to fact check it. There's no credibility in it. They put it out there. Get the metrics. The metrics equals the money.
Exactly.
But the damage is done.
So you have to say something. So I know on the show they had said, well, the kids aren't saying anything. We haven't heard from them. And I'm going, well, if you did your research, you would have called us and said, did you get $6 million? I mean, so it's very, beware of these shows. Just beware of these shows and Facebook and different things that aren't just fact check. But like I said, if you keep hearing the same thing and none of us are talking, you're gonna start wondering.
You're gonna start believing
You're not saying anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy how this Reels channel can have such a big impact. This is the first time I'm even hearing of their existence.
Right.
I'm wondering, how you found out about this.
It's interesting. One of my sisters texted me, said, look at this. They said we got $6 million. And I laughed. But then when I went to go visit her, she goes, you want to see the show? It was actually worse than just that. I'm like, really? So I looked at the show, and man, we were all over it just being these horrible people. Yeah. They weren't around, and they were only at his death. And I mean, I was like, how could this come out of their mouth, man? I'm like, wow.
What about the stepmom? Like, what's your relationship with her?
We've always been cordial with Lonnie. Lonnie, helped my dad a lot. She was a, good wife to him and took care of him. And she hasn't come out and tried to, defend us on this or say anything. Maybe she thinks it's just tabloid as well.
Okay.
The show actually has her looking beautiful, like the savior of the Ali family. I don't,
Is she on the will?
Of course, she's his wife.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I just saw this show, and my thing is, I'm a 50-year-old woman. I don't have to ask anybody to do this.
Yes.
So I wasn't gonna say let's have a family team meeting in which she was I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this regardless. I don't have to get consensus to tell the truth.
Yeah,
and so, she wasn't made out to look bad. Matter of fact, it was the opposite. So I don't know what that was about. But
Here we are.
Yeah, she's fine, but like we're regular. We live regular lives. We're not, people, when people meet me and they really get to know me and they know what I do, they're like, wow, you're not, I mean, I've gotten this my whole life.
Yeah.
I said, look, I'm a social worker. We make our own money. I'm not rich. That's my father's money. We've always been cool on that. You know what I'm saying? So, but they have us being the exact opposite of that. And it's major slander. It really is.
It's major slander, defamation. Paula's on the line from Ohio. Good morning, Paula.
Hey, Paula.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Sway? I love you. You inspire me every day. Heather, Tracy, all you guys, good morning.
Thank
and Miss Ali, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm so glad you're doing this because, as I was saying earlier, I've watched Reels, and I've watched Ali and the Cashed Out, and then I even went to Netflix because I wanted to double check. The Netflix has the Ali on there, and I'm sitting up here kind of confused, and I'm glad you're clearing this up because, yes, I was under the impression all you guys are doing great.
Yep, doing great and then grateful about it. That, you know what I'm saying? Where they have us doing great and being ungrateful.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way they talked about how he wasn't materialistic and how he inspired people, especially on the Netflix one.
Right.
How he,
And you know what? And I'm going to just say this. We are doing great. We're doing great in spirit. We're doing great in living our lives privately.
Yes.
We're doing great in being the best citizens and workers we can be on our jobs. So to me, that's rich. But I don't want people to think I'm out here talking about I ain't doing great. That's not the point of this.
So, Paula, hearing May here today helped clear a lot of things up in your mind then.
Yes, it did. And I'm glad you're doing it. And, girl, you keep speaking the truth, keep living and being who you are.
Exactly.
And may God bless all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula. God bless you, too, Paula. You're a citizen.
Sway in the morning.
Francine is in L.A. Francine, good morning.
What's up, Sway? Have a big good morning, you guys.
Hey.
Long time listener.
What's up?
Why you set tripping, Sway?
I'm just saying. We in L.A.
I'm calling May Ali. Her in person, she's a really, really sweet person. I work for the office, and I met her. She came one day up in there, came in there. She was like, girl, you want a picture with me looking like this? She took a picture. She was real humble and nice.
But she was nice to you, huh?
Always. My father told me to be nice to everybody.
Wow.
Always.
Did you get the picture, Francine?
I sure did. I got a picture of it. I got it on my Facebook page.
I'll walk around looking crazy with no makeup. So I'm like, okay, I will take this picture, but let me do the angle. No
Get
makeup.
that light right. So May is a beautiful person, great spirit, Francine. I'm glad you shared that story, opposite of what these publications are reporting.
You have to say something because, like I said, none of us have said anything about it. On purpose, right? Just trying to be cool with it and not create a ruckus and be classy and just tabloid or tabloids. But like I said, we live in a different world now.
Yep. Neil's on the line from Michigan.
Hi,
Neil,
Neil.
good morning. What you want to say?
What it do?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing great, man. Go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to speak. I actually live down the street from the champ in Southwest Michigan, a small town. You might remember me.
Yeah.
Neil Miles, but I used to see you back in the day when y'all used to come visit.
Yeah,
And
that's nice. How
I
are
don't
you?
care what. I'm good. I just want to say I don't care what that documentary saying. I didn't see it, but I know how y'all were with your father.
Right.
All of y'all.
Right.
I'm literally driving on I-94 from Chicago back to Michigan right now to Berrien Springs, and I just wanted to show my love and say, hey, I know how y'all were.
How were they with
all
him?
All of y'all. Right. The champ, I have several pictures with the champ. As a matter of fact, we before the Olympics in '96, I was on a 2020 with him, sparring at a McDonald's.
Oh,
in
nice. Michigan. Yeah, he was a beautiful person.
I got that tape to this day, and I'm telling you.
Yeah, my dad, I learned so much from him on how to treat people and what the true meaning of life is. And I'm telling you, I just love going to speaking for organizations that are working with at-risk populations and marginalized folks. The poverty in this country, all of this stuff is a distraction. Yeah. All of these tabloids, all this crap is a distraction from what we should be focused on. And you have, a person with children that are doing that same work.
Yeah.
And you trying to destroy that, and I can get real spiritual, but that's just evil working.
That's evil working.
Because you got his kids doing good things,
Exactly.
and then you have these folks who don't look like us that's talking about us and recreating our history, and it's bad. I've had young people who've said, Miss Ali, you helped save my life. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm doing some other. I got into hip hop years ago to try to be a role model for kids. That's why I wanted to rap. I still write poetry and all that, but that was my main goal in getting into hip hop. And when I saw that they would not really promote a positive black female in any kind of large way, that's when I went into social work. So I went from the hip hop to the social work and said, look, if I want to help young people, I'll do it one by one. So people don't know that journey. People don't, so to just slander me just in one shot and have people thinking, well, we don't want her to come speak. She's a spoiled brat. Or, she's not real. She's talking about helping families, but she's in fight with her own family.
Yeah.
That's major slander for me and what I do. And also for my sisters and
for your sisters.
My brothers.
And it's just it's a shame because of who your father
is right.
and what he's done.
But that's how you get at him.
Yeah.
Look at these kids. That's how you get at him. Still make money off of him, but cut us from him.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
diabolical.
Diabolical.
I get it. Maryum May Ali,
Thank
ladies
you,
and gentlemen, the oldest of the late great Muhammad Ali, is here. And don't believe the lies, don't believe the slander, the defamation.
Don't believe the hype.
Hey, man, we love you, okay?
Yes,
all right, you're a citizen.
Love
all right?
Sway in the
Thank
morning.
you, thank
okay,
you.
and if people want to reach you, citizens, hit her up. We got Warwick in Virginia.
I got May Ali Official is my Instagram, and MaryumAli.com is my speaker's website. And I try to hit people back up when they would DM me. I try my best.
Hit her up.
Yeah.
King's son out of the Bronx says he's your father's godson. Are you familiar with him, King's son?
Whoa.
Okay.
I don't know.
Tony from Buffalo, Warwick from Virginia. Hit her up directly. Everybody, once again, give out your social.
It's May Ali Official on IG.
There it is, May. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you,
All right.
Sway. Love
Absolutely.
you. Thank you.
Love you too.